Yes, hello once again. Welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV, but more especially, welcome to Northern Ireland. Okay, so another very warm welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV, and of course to our continuing coverage of the 2023 Charity Scramble hosted by the Northern Ireland Classic Scramble Club, held here at Ballysallagh Road in Craigantlet. Now in this part 3 video we're going to cover the first block of racing from the Saturday's race programme, so let's get straight into race 1, which of course is the pre-1974s, pre-1970s and the pre-1965s. So basically these are the vintage classes of this charity event. So as they make their way up the hill for the very first time, it's that man again, number 26, James Thompson, on the Cecil Pearson Jap, who appears to have the early lead as they make their way up the hill. Second position, it looks like it's Harry Stitt, number 111, but it looks like John Griffiths has now taken that second place. Now, as you can no doubt gather, the weather for this Saturday's race programme is certainly a sharp contrast from Friday's dry and dusty conditions, because we did have some sizable monsoon rains overnight which completely soaked the track, so no worries about dust today, but naturally it's made the track super slippy, especially on some of the off-camber corners. So as we continue lap 1, it's still James Thompson, your race leader. Second is Harry Stitt. Looks like our third place man is now Ian Buchanan there, number 4. Looks like John Griffiths is now down to 4th position, and that man there at the back is Harold McQuaid, who you may remember was racing that 1974 Michael on the Saturday evening. So as our race leader comes up to complete lap 1, it's number 26, James Thompson, although the race numbers are a bit harder to read due to the mud on this track, but our second place man there is number 111, that's Harry Stitt, riding his Stitt Jap Special. Still looks like it's number 4, Ian Buchanan, in third position, and it looks like Harold McQuaid has now moved up into 4th spot, but John Griffiths certainly looks like he's powering up that hill to make a challenge on Harold McQuaid's track position, but it's still James Thompson, number 26, your race leader. There's number 111 in second position, that's Harry Stitt. Ian Buchanan there, number 4. I think Ian's riding that Czechoslovakian CZ 2-stroke machine, so Ian going very well in these kind of tricky conditions. But it's Harold McQuaid here on the Cecil Pearson Jap. As I said, Harold was racing the 74 Michael in the Friday evening's programme, but Cecil Pearson very kindly gave him a loan of one of these Rickman Jap machines to have a run around on the Sunday, as we take a look at number 33, that's John Griffiths there, also riding one of Cecil Pearson's Rickman Japs. So that's Ian Buchanan just going through in third position as we look at the battle for 4th and 5th between John Griffiths and Harold McQuaid. And Harold McQuaid, of course, is one of Ireland's top trials riders, but as you can see, he's pretty handy on a motocrosser as well. As we take a look at number 26 again, James Thompson, who's already won about 4 races here at this charity scramble. So James looking very comfortable yet again at the front of this pack. So James Thompson going well on that Rickman Jap machine. Second position is still number 111. That's Harry Stitt, just going through. He's your third placed rider. Number 4, that's Ian Buchanan on the 2-stroke CZ machines. And I think it's still John Griffiths there, number 33, who is in 4th, with Harold McQuaid there in 5th. And of course these Rickman Jap machines will suit these tricky conditions absolutely perfectly, because those engines were originally designed to be used as speedway motors. As we take a look at number 55 there, that's Philip Pearson, yet again on one of those Rickman 4-stroke Japs. Although it doesn't look like anybody's going to be quick enough to catch this man this weekend, James Thompson, number 26, who has already won, I think, about 4 races here thus far at Ballysallagh Road, and as it stands, he's currently on his way to yet another win, with almost half a lap still remaining. But it's still the youngster Harry Stitt, number 111, in second place as Harry comes into shot. But it's going to be another race win for this man here, number 26, James Thompson, as he makes his way up the hill to take the checkered flag. And it's going to be Harry Stitt who's going to cross the line in second position. You can just see Harry coming across the flag now, but here's the battle for 3rd and 4th place. It's between Ian Buchanan and John Griffiths, but John Griffiths is going to take the wide line and try and get the traction up the hill, which in fact he actually does. So it's a 3rd place finish for John Griffiths, with Ian Campbell in 4th. Okay, so that quite nicely brings us on to race 2 for the Saturday's race programme, the adult twin shock grade C class. So as the riders leave the line, another good lineup here of twin shock grade C riders. So we'll just try and pick up a few of the leaders as they make their way up the hill to start at lap 1. And it certainly looks like it's number 113, that's Andrew Mitchell, who's taken the early lead on the YZ Yamaha machine. And I think that was number 41 just going through. That's Lauren Brown, who's one of our lady riders at this charity event. So Lauren's certainly made a good start in this twin shock grade C class race. So as the riders descend from the hill for the first time, it's still number 113, Andrew Mitchell, riding the YZ Yamaha. I'm not exactly sure as to what CC that is. It could be a 250, but Andrew doing very well. Second place man is number 23, that's Eric Bracewell, riding the 490 Michael machine. And just going through there, number 41, that's Lauren Brown once again, who's currently sitting in 4th position. But here's your race leader, number 113, Andrew Mitchell. Of course, everybody just tiptoeing around these corners because the track at this point is super slippy. But Eric Bracewell just going through there in 2nd position. Just trying to pick up some of these riders, but their numbers obviously aren't that easy to read due to the very muddy conditions that we have here at Ballysallagh Road after that heavy rain overnight. But it's still Andrew Mitchell, number 113 on the YZ Yamaha, who is your race leader. When you take a look at this track, you can see how tricky and slippy it is as Andrew tries to make his way up the hill, but I think it's still Eric Bracewell in second position. We'll just try and get a few of the other riders as they make their way across the line. That's number 511 just crossing the line there. That's Peter Denny, who looks like he's riding an old YZ 490 Yamaha. Now it looks like it's number 23 Eric Bracewell who's now the new leader of this race, so it looks like Eric's passed Andrew Mitchell at one point coming down the hill, so Eric Bracewell on the 490 Michael appears to be our new race leader at this point. Oops. Well, looks like Eric's got the track ropes wrapped around his rear wheel, so that could be a bit tricky to untangle. A bit of help coming from one of the stewards there. Lovely lady just helping Eric untangle himself from the ropes as we take another look at Peter Denny, number 511. But as you can see, the track conditions quite precarious at this stage, quite slippy into some of these corners, so it's no wonder that some of the riders are tippy-toeing around when they make the turns, just in case of maybe sliding off. But quite a few of these riders not even listed in the race programme, but we'll try and pick up a few of them as the race progresses. Now I think this could be our current second placed rider, number 51. I think that's Ben Keenan. I think Ben's riding an old Husqvarna, but it looks like it's still number 113. That's Andrew Mitchell, who is on the YZ Yamaha. It looks like Andrew's managing to keep his little Yamaha between the ropes, so Andrew at this stage looking good for a class win as it stands. There's your second place man again, Ben Keenan. It certainly looks like a 250 Husqvarna that Ben's mounted on. It looks like we have a couple of riders off the track. On the left there is still number 23 Eric Bracewell trying to get his Michael fired up. Number 521 there, that's Gary Canning on his KX Kawasaki. But here's your race leader as he comes out up to start his last and final lap of this race. It's Andrew Mitchell, number 113. So this has been a good ride here by Andrew, because he's led most of this race from the start line. And as it stands, here's your second placed rider, Ben Keenan, on the Swedish two-stroke Husqvarna. But it certainly looks like it's the end of the race for number 23, Eric Bracewell. It looks like Eric's just going to call this a day and put the bike back in the van and head straight to the bar for a well-earned beer. So we're back with our race leader, number 113, Andrew Mitchell, on the two-stroke YZ Yamaha. So this has been a very good ride by Andrew, as he has just slightly less than half a lap to go, but he's managed to keep his bike in between the ropes without slipping or falling off. So this is going to be a well-deserved win for Andrew Mitchell. But as I said, we did have quite a lot of rain overnight, and you can see the difference in the track conditions from the Friday. So as our race leader comes up the hill, it's the first win of the day for number 113, Andrew Mitchell. And that man there is John Campbell, who won both races in the Twin Shock Grade C class on the Friday evening on his CCM. So looks like John's looking for the start of this next race, which is of course race 3, and this is the Twin Shock Adult Grade B class. So as you can see, another fantastic lineup of Twin Shock riders for this race. So as the riders leave the line, well, that looks like a good start by the youngster there on the CZ. I think that's number 24. That could be Jack Belton, who has got the early lead, but as I said, pretty hard to make out some of the riders and their numbers in these quite muddy conditions. But certainly the old scrambles tracks of the days gone by, when you see all this lovely slippy mud. Number 199 just making his way through there. That's Josh Johnston on the Michael. So as our race leaders descend from the top of the hill on lap 1, it still looks like it's number 24, Jack Belton on the CZ, who leads at number 111. That's Ian McMahon on the 4-stroke Yamaha. Number 42 is Raymond Cromie. I think Raymond's riding one of those big CR 480 Hondas, but as you can see, still very slippy at some of the corners on this racetrack due to the heavy overnight rain. Number 84 just making his way through there. That's Matt Halpin. But here's your race leader on the 2-stroke CZ. I think it's Jack Belton. Second is still Ian McMahon. Third is Raymond Cromie. Quite hard to make out some of these riders and the numbers. Lee Rook has just made his way through there. So we're back with our race leader, and I think it's actually Raymond Cromie who's now your new race leader, number 42 on the right hand side there as he comes up the hill, and it's Ian McMahon on the left, number 111 on the big TT500 Yamaha. Looks like Ian was trying to have a go there, but as they make their way up the hill, it certainly is Raymond Cromie who leads Ian McMahon in second position. As we take a look at number 16, that's Joel Donnan. Joel's riding a quite nice looking RM250 Suzuki. I'm not exactly sure what happened to our first lap race leader, number 24, Jack Belton, but he doesn't seem to be in the picture now. So here's your race leader, number 42, Raymond Cromie on the CR 480 Honda, but it's still number 111, Ian McMahon in second place there on the 4-stroke Yamaha machine. I would imagine that this big single cylinder 4-stroker will be well suited to these tricky conditions and will handle the track slightly better than the nippy and buzzy 2-strokes. So this is another good ride here by Ian McMahon. And it looks like Jack Belton is still on track there as you see him going through, so I don't know what happened to Jack, but he's certainly lost a few track positions, but he's still circulating the track, so maybe he'll get back up to challenge for the lead once again. Now number 223, that's John O'Neill. That's that lovely 400 Myco that we had a look at in our paddock video. It looks like John's got some kind of mechanical issues with his Myco, which is very unusual for one of those Mycos to break down. You very seldom get any problems with those machines, but we're back with our race leader number 42, Raymond Cromie. And I just noticed a rider on the deck there with his back wheel with about half of the track ropes wrapped around it, so it's going to take some time for that rider to unravel that particular part of the track. We're looking at Lee Rook there, number 20 on the CR Honda, and Lee has just recently returned from the Don Matthews CZ World Championship, where he took that particular title, so he'll be well chuffed that he's now a CZ World Champion. So as it stands, with one lap to go, it looks like we're just about to have a new race leader. So it looks like it's Lee Rook who's now your new race leader on the CR250 Honda, and Raymond Cromie is currently now in second position, but Lee Rook certainly riding like a world champion as he makes his way up the hill, and there's that rider trying to use one of the track posts to unravel the ropes from his back wheel. So this looks like it's going to be a good win here for this man, number 20, Lee Rook, the current CZ World Champion. So well done to Lee. Second place is still number 42, Raymond Cromie. Raymond was doing very well in this race, but obviously now he's going to have to settle for that second place position. So as he comes towards the checkered flag to complete this Twin Shock Grade B class race, it's number 20, Lee Rook on the CR250 Honda, who's going to take a win. Now I think in second position it's still Raymond McMahon, although we are looking at number 24, Jack Belton, crossing the line, but I think Jack is well down the pecking order in this race, so at least he did manage to finish. But that rider still hasn't untangled the track ropes from the rear wheel of his Yamaha, but hopefully he'll get that done sometime soon. So of course that brings us on to the next Twin Shock race. This is the adult grade A class. Basically these are the top riders in the Twin Shock class, and as they leave the line it looks like another good start by that man James Thompson. This time James is riding his YZ490 Yamaha. It looks like Chris Lappin on the left hand side has made a good start on the 4-stroke Husqvarna. Number 8 on the left there on the Suzuki, that is of course David Watson, who was an ex-British 250 champion back in the 1980s, so it's nice to see that David Watson is still riding in these kind of events. So as our race leader descends from the hill, it's still number 26, James Thompson, who's already got a bit of a gap on this man here, number 12, Chris Lappin. And in fourth position there, that's number 344, that's Ian Dunlop, who's about to be passed by David Watson. Number 8 on the RM Suzuki. Number 61 going through there again is Kawasaki racing legend Lawrence Spence. This time, of course, riding a 490 Myco. But James Thompson is well on his way once again. Second place is still number 12, Chris Lappin on the big 510 4-stroke Husky machine. In third place there is number 8, that's David Watson once more, and number 61, Lawrence Spence, is just making his way down the hill. And as you can see, it doesn't take this man long to complete a lap of this Ballysallagh Road racetrack. James Thompson, number 26, your race leader. It's still Chris Lappin, who is in second position on the big four-stroke Husqvarna, and it looks like it's this man here, number 12, also, who I'm assuming will be Stuart Lappin. So the Lappin brothers doing very well here in this twin shock grade A class. And I've certainly lost count as to how many races this man has won here over the course of the 2 days at Ballysallagh Road. James Thompson, he seems to win every single race that he takes part in, and if he doesn't win it, then it's usually down to some kind of mechanical issues. Now there's a rider that I said needs no introduction. That's motocross racing legend Lawrence Spence, who of course was an ex-Kawasaki works rider back in the early 1980s, and you may remember that iconic race that he had against Graham Noyce at Farley Castle back in 1983, when after a huge 45 minutes race moto, his Kawasaki gearbox seized up and he had to drag his bike almost 50 yards with the back wheel locked up to get it across the finish line. But as you can see, he's still very quick on a dirt bike riding this 490 Michael. But here's your race leader crossing the line to complete another lap. It's number 26, James Thompson. As we take a look at another racing legend, that's David Watson, number 8, an ex-British 250 champion from way back in the day. And talking of champions, it looks like this man here is certainly going to be the man of the meeting for the weekend here at the 2023 Charity Scramble. There doesn't seem to be any stopping this man, James Thompson, who, as I said, this time is riding his quite rapid YZ 490 Yamaha. So James has got a decent lead here over second place man, which is now number 176. That's Will Dixon riding his Michael 490 Spider. Another very quick Irish rider, Will Dixon, on quite a rare bike, because you don't see many of these big Michael Spiders still racing on the track these days. But we are watching the Lappin brothers. We have Chris Lappin in third position as we look at number 12 also. I think that's Stuart Lappin, but here's Chris Lappin in third position on the big four-stroke Husqvarna machine, and this is a bike we'll be taking a look at here on my YouTube channel in the coming weeks. It's a lovely four-stroke thumper, this bike. Once more, we're taking a look at number 61, Lawrence Spence, on that big 490 Michael. It looks like Lawrence is still very quick on one of these motocross machines. So here's the two Lappin brothers again. It looks like Chris Lappin is just ahead of Stuart, but it looks like Chris has got some kind of problem with the four-stroke Husqvarna, something to do with the suspension, I think, at the back. So that has moved Stuart Lappin up into third position. So here's our race leader as he heads towards the checkered flag for probably win number 152 or something, because James Thompson just seems to have won every race here at this two-day event. But this is another very well deserved win for this man on the YZ 490 Yamaha, and it looks like it's going to be Stuart Lappin who's going to take that second place position, and I think it's going to be Will Dixon who's going to cross the line in third. It looks like that rider is still trying to unravel his back wheel with all the track ropes wrapped around it, so we'll maybe come back next year and hopefully he'll have that particular job done. So that brings us on to the youth classes. This is the big wheel 85s, 125s and 250 4-strokes. So these modern bikes with the young riders on them should cope no problem with these wet and sticky conditions. So it looks like it's been another good start by number 122 Nathan Donnelly. And James Wright's also made a good start, as has Sam Morrow. So those are the front three placings as they head up the hill for the very first time. So as the youngsters make their way down from the top of the hill for lap one, it is indeed number 122 Nathan Donnelly. I think that's, I'm not sure if that's a YZ Yamaha that Nathan's riding, but he's got quite a good lead over number 22. That's James Wright in second position. Sam Morrow is making his way through in third, and just going through there was number 5. I think that could be Henry Wright that was just making his way through, but it's Nathan Donnelly on lap 1 who is your race leader. I think Nathan's riding a 125 2-stroke Yamaha machine, and again quite hard to pick out some of the riders and their numbers with these muddy, tricky conditions, but we'll certainly do our very best to give most of the riders a mention. Number 85 that was just going through there, that was Daniel Pearson, but it's Nathan Donnelly who completes lap 1 in the lead, and it's number 22 James Wright in second position with number 18 Sam Morrow there on what looks like a little KTM. Now there were scheduled to be 3 blocks of racing from this Saturday's programme, although because of the heavy overnight rain and the track conditions, and of course a late start to the racing on the Saturday, the race organisers decided that they wouldn't manage to fit in 3 blocks of racing, so they've then reduced it to just the 2 blocks of racing. So in this part 3 video you'll see all of the racing from this first block, and of course the final block of racing will be posted in part 4, which will be coming up very soon. So we're looking at our race leader. It's number 122 Nathan Donnelly as he heads round to complete another lap. So Nathan riding very well on what looks like a YZ Yamaha machine. But certainly if you're into your classic racing, then we'd love to see you here at this event in 2024, whether it be as a spectator or even a rider, and all of the information that you need to book into this event is usually available on the club's website at niclassicscrambles.com, or better still, just take a quick look at their Facebook page as well, because not only will you have a warm reception from the people of Northern Ireland, you'll also be contributing to a very worthwhile cause in the process. So we're back with our race leader as he descends from the top of the hill. It's still number 122 Nathan Donnelly on the little 125 2-stroke machine. Here's your second and third placed riders. Number 22 at the front is James Wright. Number 18 is Sam Morrow, who is, looks like he's accidentally run into the back of James Wright's machine, but it looks like Sam's okay. As you can see in this replay, it just looks like Sam's misjudged a corner and clipped the back of James's machine, but he appears to be okay. But it's still this young man here, number 122, Nathan Donnelly, your race leader, as he comes up the hill to take the last lap flag. So this is Nathan on his last and final lap of this race. So as long as he keeps it in between the ropes, he should be able to secure the win. There's your second placed rider. That's number 22, James Wright. So James is also heading for a decent podium finish in this race. As we take a look at number 35 there, that's Daniel Pearson, also riding one of those very popular KTM two-strokers, but it looks like we've got a rider down in the corner. I think it's number 84, that's another one of the girl riders, that's Zoe Turtle on her little KTM, but it looks like Zoe's on her way once again. So without doubt this has been an excellent performance from this quite talented youngster, number 122 Nathan Donnelly. He's only got a couple of turns to go to secure the win in this race, but of course Nathan will be scored in his own class, because we do have 3 different classes riding in this race, so it's certainly going to be a win for Nathan Donnelly in his particular class as he comes up the hill to take the checkered flag. So a very well done to Nathan, and a good ride in these tricky conditions. Here's your second place man coming through. It's going to be James Wright, number 22, who's going to come up the hill to secure that second podium place finish. Okay, so that brings us on to the second of the youth races. This is race 6, and this is the small wheel 85s and 65s. So these little bikes hopefully will manage to get around the track in these very slippy and sticky conditions. But it looks like little Henry Wright's made a good start, but looks like we have a faller on the step going up the hill, and I think that is actually number 5, Henry Wright, who's taken a tumble, but it looks like the little guy is okay and good to continue. So we're just picking up our race leaders as they come down the steps. It looks like it's number 22, little Tom Wright, who is a race leader, but he's just been passed there. I'll just try and pick up a few of the other riders, but quite tricky conditions for these little bikes, so it's no surprise that these guys are tippy-toeing round the corners. Number 3 there, that's even Oliver on one of those little 65 machines. So even looking, or Evan, if sorry about the pronunciation, but certainly doing well at this point in the race. So as the riders head down the step to the bottom part of the racetrack, we'll try and pick up our race leader as they come down the hill on lap 2. Quite difficult to read the numbers on these bikes, but we'll do our very best. I think that's 38, could be 38. And although, unfortunately, we don't have any rider listed with number 38 in any of the information that I was given, so I do apologise for not being able to name that rider, but number 22 there is Tom Wright, who I'm assuming is riding another one of those little KTM bus bombs, little 2-stroke machine. So Tom at this stage looking quite good, but this track is still very slippy even at this stage of the proceedings. As we take a look at what I think is number 246, That's James Rankin, who's just ahead of number 100. That's Cooper McCanley. And as I said, quite tricky conditions for these little bikes, and it looks like Cooper McCanley's just taken that track position. But here's your current race leader, number 38. But as I said, I'm unable to name the rider because we don't have any information with a rider of that number in the paperwork that I was supplied. Number 22 though is Tom Wright, so I think Tom is currently in second position as we speak. So once again, Tom doing very well on his little KTM two-stroke. As we take a look at number 416, that's little Freddie Thompson. Looks like Freddie's doing very well on his little machine. There's your race leader coming up the hill to start his last and final lap of this race. But this has been a very good ride by this anonymous rider, and again I said I apologise for not being able to name the rider, but there's Tom Wright, number 22, currently in second position as they make their way up the hill. And there's our rider who took that little spill at the start of this race, number 5, Henry Wright. So it looks like Henry's up and running once again, and thankfully no injuries to report. But here's your race leader as they head towards the checkered flag. So it's been a very good ride by number 38. And despite these slippy conditions, these riders on the little machine certainly doing okay to get round this very sticky and slippy racetrack. So here's your race leader as he heads down for his race win. So been a very good ride, and once again I do apologise for not being able to name the rider, but we don't have any rider listed on the number 38 bike. There's your second place man, Tom Wright, who's crossing the line in second. And so that brings us to the final race for this first block of racing from the Saturday. This is race 7, and this is the adult pre-1977 class. As you can see, not too many pre-1977 bikes in this class. We could certainly do with a few more of these older bikes, but as they make their way up the hill, it's that man again, number 26, James Thompson, who this time is riding a 360 Bull Taco. It looks like it's John Griffiths who's in second position. Harry Stitt is in third. So it's James Thompson on the Bull Taco who's your race leader. John Griffiths on the Alan Clues CCM is in second. Harry Stitt is in third. That's Harold McQuaid again at number 54. This time Harold is out on his old 1974 400 Michael. As we take a look at Harry Stitt, number 111, of course riding with that number 70 on the bike, but Harry occasionally swaps with his father, and the both of these riders make good use of that bike. So we're looking at number 33, John Griffiths, in second position, being pursued by Harry Stitt, and just making his way through there, it looks like number 44, and it could even maybe be even at number 14. But here's your race leader, number 26, James Thompson on the Bull Taco second, John Griffiths on the big CCM in second place, with Harry Stitt currently in third. But as they make their way down from the top of the hill, it looks like we've got a change of lead at the front. It's now Harry Stitt, number 111. Second is John Griffiths. Third is Harold McQuaid. And it looks like we've lost James Thompson, number 26, on the Bultaco. So looks like James has had some kind of mechanical failure with the Spanish two-stroke machine. So it's now Harry Stitt, your race leader. John Griffiths is in second. Harold McQuaid is in third on the 400 Michael. So it's the two CCM bikes versus the German two-stroke Michael. So in fact there is James Thompson hiding in the trees there, so it looks like James's Bultaco has given up the ghost. And here's your race leader, number 111, Harry Stitt, who leads. Number 54, that's Harold McQuaid, who I said was one of Ireland's top trials riders, but he certainly looks like he's one of Ireland's top twin shock racers at the moment. So it's still Harry Stitt on the 4-stroke CCM bike, who's your race leader. Second is still Harold McQuaid, number 54. John Griffiths is currently still in third, but this has been another very good ride here by this trials rider, number 54, Harold McQuaid. Maybe Harold should give up the trials riding and take up this twin shock racing, because as you can see, he's very quick on this old German Michael. So we're back with our race leader as he comes up the hill to start his last and final lap of this pre-1977 race. It's number 111, Harry Stitt, who leads. Number 54, Harold McQuaid. That CCM of Harry Stitt's doing some smoking, so it may need a bit of attention after this race meeting. But there's your third place man, number 33, John Griffiths, who's riding a Joe Maxwell reproduction CCM machine. So here's your race leader heading down the hill for the very last time. It's number 111, Harry Stitt, who's ridden an absolute blinder right from the start gate. It's still Harold McQuaid in second position, but it looks like Harry's got this race in the bag. There's Harold McQuaid going round there in second place. It looks like he's got some kind of mechanical issue with the Michael, so it may even be that this man here, John Griffiths, has moved up into second position, but we'll find out as they cross the finish line. So we're looking at John Griffiths, number 33. So it's going to be a well-deserved first win of the day for the young man, Harry Stitt, number 111 on the 4-stroke CCM, as Harry takes the win, and we'll find out who's going to take that second place position in a moment as they make their way up the hill. So it looks like it's going to be number 33, it's John Griffiths on the CCM, and it looks like it's going to be Harold McQuaid who's going to take that third place and final podium position. But this has been another good ride here by number 54, Harold McQuaid. So there you have it, the first block of racing from a very wet racetrack here at Ballysallagh Road on the Saturday, and we'll bring you our final coverage of the 2023 Charity Scramble when we post the last video in this series in part 4. So again, thanks for watching. I do hope you will all return to check out our final race video in part 4.